Well, hey there. Welcome to Takes from Bozos, episode 30. We're just diving right in. I'm Drew, and joining me are the co-conspirators of the Emoji Madness coup d'etat. We have the dictator-in-chief, Alex Wolf, his oligarch crony, Marty Wilpon, and I don't know what how my co-host plays a role. He's basically Brutus in William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar on this because he betrayed me in this whole thing. Zach, you should be ashamed of yourself. The other two I expect, but you should be ashamed of yourself.
I don't even know what that metaphor was, what you were comparing me to. I have no idea what that was referring to. So I'll take it on the chin and we'll move
I'm sorry.
on.
Have you not read Shakespeare in school?
No,
What is our
I
education system
maybe
doing
I did,
to
but
America?
not enough to like memorize it. I don't know. I was probably like in like 8th grade.
Do you
So I
not
don't
know the speech at the end
no
of Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me
no
your ears?
no
I've come to bury Caesar, not to praise him.
no. Is there like a TikTok about it or something that I can go watch?
You.
No.
Anyway,
I still think Zach doesn't even know what happened, to be honest. So
Okay. Well, we'll get into it, then I'll explain where I was.
what happened to the end of Julius Caesar?
That I can't explain. That's not what I came
We're
here.
not talking about that. We're talking about the end of the draft.
All right. So our episode today is we're basically going to go over the Emoji Madness. If you guys don't know that is because you are not on our Patreon, which is the of course Strickland Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/Strickland, you can join the $6 tier, get you in to the Discord where you can vote on the Emoji Madness, which we will explain in just a moment. And you can get full episodes of Takes from Obvious Bozos, Friday episodes with Schwinn and Prez on Pod Strickland, and a bunch of other stuff. There's a $9 tier, exclusive articles from Matthew Miranda, some good stuff. And of course, our sponsor overlords, who actually run this entire cabal that is happening, is the Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all betting on all of March Madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, Bet Online is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from the college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest. Bet Online continues to be your number one source sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game. Every play and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here. So we're diving right into this. Emoji Madness Part 2. This was such a big hit when we first did it last year. And for the folks who don't know, is if you're never in a Discord, one of the things that make Discord great are the custom emojis. And we have tons and tons of emojis that we do react for all different things. And last year we had a tournament style bracket. We had our beloved Clyde Frazier win our first thing, and then we decided to mix things up, and we started to do a draft. And we would have our 4 people be in the brackets.
Do you want to explain why we decided to do a draft first? Like why we didn't have one last year and like what happened? You want me to explain
because
that?
of you. You're the reason why. Because you decided to build the entire draft board, which made no sense whatsoever.
I was the AP. I picked the 64.
last
year. And I received way too much scrutiny for it because there was a lot of
wrong.
There were a lot of great players that were left out of the seeding, and now this year we needed to put our heads together and come up with some sort of civil way to have a round of 64 that everybody agreed upon.
That you resisted.
I would like to be the AP again, but I was outvoted on this.
Yeah, so we decided, of course, there would be the 4 of us that would do the draft.
No.
And
well, that's not true, Drew.
Oh wait, no, you're right.
About?
You're right. So Marty's actually not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be Colin. He couldn't make it. And while the 4 of us were drafting, our dictator-in-chief decided to create a new emoji on the spot and draft it. And of course, I took offense to this because it was the greatest slight of the democratic institution.
Can you explain what the emoji is? Because it makes sense that he did it in the moment.
Of course it does. So if you guys don't know, Mikal Bridges had a game-winning shot, a double bang from Mike Breen iconic. He had his stupid little head bob on the court after the win. Would you guys be insulted if someone did that to you on your home court, like the Mikal
Yes.
Bridges thing?
Yeah,
I would lose my mind.
Yes.
Like I can't have you doing that on the home court. So he does his little bobblehead dance thing. Next day, I was sleeping because I don't do West Coast games. It's too late for me. I pick a Mikal Bridges thing, a Mikal Bridges emoji that we have, to kind of play up everything that's going on. But Alex takes it a step further and he clips out the emoji of Mikal Bridges doing his dance on the game winner. He picks the moment that I was trying to seize, and he took it and he goes, "New emoji. I created it. I'm in charge. I am taking it." And of course, as someone who is, a man of the people and a defender of democracy, I took offense, and a coup d'etat happened, and I was ousted from my position, and Marty took over.
What was it again? It was a coup d'etat.
Yeah, you called it a coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat. The coup d'etat. I thought that was one of my better bad spelling errors.
It was.
It
You're the
was,
best
yeah.
speller ever. You're my favorite speller of all time.
Yeah, that one it really hit, especially unintentionally. Like after reading it back, I was like, "Oh, I fucked it up." Right? Like I was like, I can't edit it. Right? Like I can't edit. I wrote like a dissertation, and
nobody read it.
And no one read it except for Marty because he noticed the coup d'etat, which I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's a bad one, but it fit perfectly. So, gentlemen, how do you feel about your selection so far? So the draft continued. No one cared that I got ousted. No one cared the fact that there was no one gave a shit. Everyone was very happy that I was kicked out. Marty took over, and I have to say, Marty, you did a pretty good job.
No, thank you, Drew. It's kind of
I thought you did a really good job. I felt like I set you up with some good ones to go against Zach's awful end of the round stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're set up that way, and then you filled in the stuff that I think you're gonna beat Zach.
I think we're gonna go 16 for 16. To be honest,
I think so too. I thought Zach's picks were terrible.
I mean, his 1 seed is Frank Tongue.
Frank Tongue.
It's a
That's
great emoji. That's
It's
one
fine.
of the.
It's fine, but even sexier Tibbs is our 16 seed.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I'm sorry. Can we talk about the rapid shift from this is a coup d'etat to we're gonna win this thing. We're gonna win it. It's us. It's you and I against the world now.
Okay.
What happened here?
I could only do the bit for so long. Should I pull the curtain back a little bit of like what actually
started
happened?
to, so you
No.
have to.
There's
No,
no
do we have to
curtain.
continue it?
There's no curtain.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So anyway, so I think Marty feels comfortable with his picks. Alex, how do you feel about your picks in the terms of you decided to just create basically your own?
For one, yeah, I feel pretty great about that one. I don't know. I love my picks. Let's see. I got Snail, which you wanted with your number 1 pick.
Which because again, well, we need to remember not only can I not spell, I can't read.
But you can't read either. Yeah, because you were like, I'm taking the Snail. The Elite 8 from last year are the top 8 seeds of this year's.
Which makes sense.
And somehow you got Clyde right before the fucking defending champion.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense to me how that slipped that far. I got stuck with vintage Randall. That's an easy first round upset.
Oh yeah, vintage.
No,
Randall,
but sorry, Drew. It's up against Timothy Cat. That's not a good emoji.
Yeah, the Timothy Cat one is not.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Emoji.
It's great. That's not good. It's great.
We're seeing Gen Z versus millennials live and in person right now.
It's so funny.
Timmy. I love Timmy. It's not a good emoji.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah, right.
I feel good about Snail. I feel good about Risk It All Mellow. OG Smile 3. He smiles too much, the motherfucker. Feel pretty good about that one. Scuba Mitch is a big sleeper. I was happy to get that. Nobody else seems
Scuba Mitch is a sleeper.
Nobody likes Scuba Mitch as much as me, but I love Scuba Mitch. Let's see. Chef Leon was a Sweet 16 from last year. Got him as a 16 seed. That was pretty cool. Risk It All, Mr. Dolan. I don't know. Yeah, I feel solid.
Can I talk about my process and how I approach this draft here?
Fine.
I'd love to hear that because yours confused the shit out of me.
So, dude, this is March. Anything can happen in March. And if you've watched the real tournaments, the basketball tournaments, you should know that previous year's tournaments are not indicators for what will happen in the following year. And I think Alex was so locked in on being like, oh, this one was in the Elite Eight last year. It's still available. I got to get it. This one was in the Sweet 16 last year. I got to get it. Like he was going back.
I only had my final pick.
No, you definitely had a whole other tab up on your screen while you're doing this. And we're like looking at the history of last year to try and like gauge which ones to pick. So I totally threw that out. And I had a vision that I wanted to incorporate a lot of new faces that weren't in the pool last year, whether they were left out of the pool or they didn't even exist last year. Like I grabbed Campaign, I grabbed Shamit, I grabbed Huck Porty, I grabbed all these emojis that weren't even in the opus last year for us. And I think the freshness of these guys, these are young legs, they're coming in. I think these guys are real. That was my strategy going in. I wanted to have new faces, but also a little bit of personal bias with Frank and Kembo. What are you smiling at? Which I thought was a great pick in like the 4th or 5th round where I got him, and that was kind of my general thinking. I also just want to say that Alex kind of came up with this draft idea on the spot while I was like really busy at work, and I didn't want to do this, but Alex kind of like pressured me into this, and I didn't have enough time to like draft up a better idea, so I was just like, fuck it, we'll do it anyway, it's fine. And every single pick I made, I was like at work or watching something or like locked. I wasn't able to kind of put my brain in draft mode. I was asleep at the wheel, if you will, while doing this. So I had a couple picks that I already regret.
We could tell.
I'm sorry. So which one is it? Were you coming up with
I had the strategy, but I also at some times wasn't really able to deploy the strategy because I was so distracted.
We all have day jobs, pal. All right.
Dude, I was distracted.
It's probably worth pointing out that the reason we had to seemed like such a scramble is because we all forgot about Emoji Madness.
I didn't. I actually had not forgot. I was ready. I just assumed that I was going to be the AP again, and I was just going to surprise y'all with a nice round of 64 on Selection Sunday. But you guys had better ideas. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Zach. How many in here would you have not included?
Would I have not included? I definitely wouldn't have included this like doll one that Colin selected.
Colin, my God.
Yeah, dude, this. We were talking before we hit record. We're gonna delete this maybe even before the tournament starts. Like it's just gonna be like a ghost spot. Like it's not even gonna be there. So I actually think Colin had the worst draft. Like there's so many in here that I would not have included had I been the AP, especially like Reggie Bullock. Courtside James, like no, we are erasing James from history. Like that is no reason for him to be in this pool at all.
The thing is, we didn't get a new Courtside James when he was at the Kings game the other day. So
I didn't get him on camera at all. I was watching.
I actually think this is a hot take. This perfect show for this, by the way. I think Dune Deuce sucks. I think that's a horrible emoji. I actually think Deuce is, considering how integral he is to the Knicks and the Strickland program, he needs to have better emojis. He only has 2, and one of them is horrible, the Dune one. The other one is like, okay. But I'm going to make it a real effort now, maybe before or after the tournament, to get us some new Deuce emojis here, because he's playing his ass off. He's an integral piece of the team. He's starting with Brunson out for the next few weeks, and like we can't have these one good emoji and one terrible. It's not enough. Like OG's got like 8 now, or something like that. And he's been here half the time Deuce has been here. So I just don't think it's fair.
I don't understand how you don't understand the significance of Dune in the Dune universe, because Deuce right now in that emoji is the Cuisard Satarak.
Yeah.
Do you understand the significance of the Cuisard Satarak?
No,
exactly.
All right, Doug, spend the next 15 minutes explaining Dune to Zach. I think that's a good use of time.
I will have to duck early. Do we want to do one Bozo take to react to before I go?
Yeah, we could do that.
We're all over the place today.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Zach's takes that I started off that I listed as the first one?
But what you're running the show, buddy. I'm just
all right. We're gonna do Zach's takes. Zach started us off with the Knicks will have a statement win over the Warriors today. We're recording this on Saturday before the game.
I have real reasons for this. Before, if you want me to say them before Alec has
go
this. Okay.
Go ahead.
First one, it's hard to beat teams twice. The Warriors beat us once already at the Garden. That's one thing. Second thing, I don't think we're like a better team with Brunson out, but I actually think we match up a little better with the Warriors with Brunson out. I think having Deuce play like the entire game on Steph with no possessions where like Brunson is guarding Steph is huge. And then the third major piece, obviously, the thing everybody's waiting for is the Cat revenge game on Draymond. Cat's going to come in locked in, dog. There's going to be it's no Cat. He's dog today. He's going to put his head down against Draymond. And I just think that they're playing really well. The team is together right now. They kind of had a little adversity to come over with the McHale comments that were kind of weird, and they showed it in Portland. They were locked in. They were locked in Sacramento, and I think they have a good momentum going through right now. And I think they're gonna have a nice winning today in Golden State.
Yeah, I think not a bozo. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty good thing.
Perfectly reasonable.
I'm with it. Yeah.
His next one though is the Dolan pod was great.
Also, that was great,
which was in reference to the what is it called? The Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart roommates podcast.
Yeah.
Zach, you know what? You're kind of 2 for 2. I also thought it was a good podcast. I thought it was interesting. I know we had one dissenter in our group who were like, "It's terrible," and James Dolan is unhinged. Which was
who said that?
Who do you think said that?
James?
Yeah, of course James said that.
Oh my god.
Of course James.
That was just a guess, man. I really had no idea. I hadn't seen
James said that Dolan was unhinged.
Yeah. James is the biggest Mr. Dolan sycophant. What are we talking about here?
Well, look, he said he was a complete weirdo coming off the podcast, and he didn't come off as someone said Dolan came off as sincere or engaging or something like that.
I thought he came off very sincere. I thought he came off as like a nice human who I actually think he admitted some mistakes and admitted that he's learned some lessons as an owner over the past few years. And specifically, like I tweeted this out, but there was a part where they asked him, like Josh asked Dolan, what's it like making these big trades and like having to move these big personalities around? And Dolan was immediately like, listen, it's not me, it's Leon. Like, I don't do anything. He's like, this is all Leon. All I do is let him cook. And then he proceeded to say, like, I used to see the shiny object and always try and grab it. I used to try and get involved. He was like, I used to be super, super involved. And he's like, I've learned my lesson. He was like, if I was going to tell a new owner that something, it would be that like, you don't know as much basketball as you think. And you need to trust the people that you hire who know basketball, like Leon and the rest of his people. And I thought that was something we all kind of knew was happening. And if you had watched the Knicks for the past 4 or 5 seasons, that was pretty obvious that Dolan hadn't been dipping his toe into matters like he used to. But just hearing it from him and having him be very human about it and sincere, I thought that was great. I thought he was just super funny about it too. The part where he like didn't know Vince Carter's name and he was like, "Oh, the scorer from Toronto who played for the Nets. Yeah. What was his name?" Like, dude, like this is a future Hall of Famer, and I thought that was pretty funny. He was like super into St. John's basketball, obviously, super into the Rangers. He's talking about like Matt Rempe and how he's like, "Oh, he's gonna be a pretty good player now. We got a pretty good player, this kid Rempe." And I thought there was a ton of great moments, and he seemed to be like a nice human being. He even talked about like JD and the straight shot and how he opened for the Eagles and how he looking forward to get back out on tour. And I thought it was great. I don't even listen to these roommates pods in full. Most of the time I just get the clips on whatever platform the clips pop up on. But this was one I like actually went to YouTube and watched the whole pod, which is great.
Yeah. I've listened to most of it. I didn't finish it. Or did I finish it? Maybe I did finish it. Yeah, I got through most of it. I mean, part of it is obviously Dolan just doing like the Mark Zuckerberg thing of trying to make himself look cooler and relatable.
Yeah.
So obviously part of it was like, he got dressed all snazzy, sprayed up his spray tan,
Rangers scarf he was rocking.
Yeah, frosted his hair, the whole fucking deal. But he was pretty good. I mean, he did admit that it's a lot of the same stuff he said during the Phil Jackson intro press conference where he was like, he just told me about basketball and I realized I didn't know shit about basketball. So he admitted all that. And then, the Vince Carter story is kind of funny, although also like comes across like Dolan just looks at guys like fucking meat puppets that play basketball for him. It's just like,
pretty much.
Yeah, I thought he was broken, but he wasn't broken. And then he never broke. And I was sitting there waiting for him to tear his Achilles the rest of his career. And he just never did. But whatever. Yeah, it was fun. I thought the most hilarious thing was him openly acknowledging that he's never going to speak to the media because all they want to do is write bullshit.
I
And
thought that was funny.
and Brunson and Hart doing absolutely nothing to stand up to that or like press him on that at all. Like they were just like, "Yep, all right." Anyway, so the next thing, I'm sure that like Bondi and all them were fuming when this came out, considering Dolan has not given them a comment on the record in probably 10 years. So
Yeah, and then he does a whole like hour and a half, 2 hour pod basically.
it was like a 2-hour podcast. Yeah, it was long.
It's absolutely hysterical that like he took the time. Well, he's not busy, but like he took the time out of his day basically to sit with his employees and be like, let's talk about things. It's very funny. I think that the larger scope of it is just very funny because he doesn't like anytime you saw him on like the radio, he was super unhinged. Right? Like when he does like the media stuff, like Dolan's unhinged, and this time he was just more like toned down a bit. I thought it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it.
Unfortunately, fellas, I got a dip. It was good talking emoji madness. Very important business to get to. Oh, I'm receiving a call. Yes, yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I got an emoji tournament to rig.
Oh wow!
So
I can't wait for you to rig it.
Yeah, big business. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Thank God he's gone.
Now the episode starts.
Now the episode starts. Hey, welcome to Change Your Mind.
I didn't listen to the Dolan podcast, so I have zero thoughts.
You
should listen to it.
I will. It's probably at some point, but I just, I have other stuff to do.
I'm sure.
I love that you have other stuff to do.
I mean, I do have other stuff to do.
I mean, don't we all? Don't we all have other things to do?
All right.
Yeah,
not that I'm running this podcast, but I'm running this podcast for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should all pick a first round upset.
Yeah, let's do that. So Colin's matching up with
Alex. Literally all of Alex's low seeds.
Colin may get upset for like all.
He's gonna get upset. I don't care.
See, under all of the sabotage that happened, and it's unfortunate Colin's not here to defend himself. He did have the worst draft of the
he did.
5. Like, I think it's objectively the worst draft. I don't like his low seeds are awful. Like Reggie Bullock no one likes Reggie. The only person who likes it is Dallas.
There's going to be one vote for Reggie Bullock.
He's going to get one vote. That's going to be completely gone. But no, like Chef Leon may upset Dolan Cheer, maybe.
No, that's not actually going to happen. But I mean,
I
Dolan
think,
Cheer is one of the most loved emojis.
I think West is going to beat Pacome.
I can see that.
I don't think the Pacome one has hit because he doesn't play, so it hasn't really registered that much.
Colin got very lucky that he happens to have Windy He up against Risk It All Dolan, because I think against like anyone else in that area of Colin's bracket, Risk It All Dolan would win, but Windy He's gonna beat.
Yeah, Windy's the big one.
Maybe my brain can't like handle this. How do you know who's matching up with who just based on like this message
I'm
that I'm
eyeballing
looking
it.
at?
Yeah,
so I look at the first one and then I look at the last one and then I go from
that's what
left to right and then right to left.
Yeah.
I probably should have checked in on this before we hit record and like seen the matchup so that I could have good takes on them.
I just looked at it right now. I'm able to process it.
Who am I going up against? Who am I going?
I
can see it.
You're up against
against DM.
Yes, the whole point originally was supposed to be we would face each other, and then we would just discuss how much better one of us would be on the pod. The entire madness.
But then Doug
that was the original intent.
Doug had to commit terrorism, so we had to jail him.
and then I got locked up in jail in Discord jail, and I'm not allowed to. But I still think I set up Marty pretty well against Zach's higher seeds. I mean, no, I think I set him up good for the lower seeds. You set him up good for the higher seeds.
The one I'm iffy about from our top seeds is Slop.
Oh yeah, you're done. That's
against Beasley. People like Beasley. I think Slot. That's a classic 5-12 upset. I think Slot might be going down.
Slop was I can give you some of the motivation behind kind of like what I'm thinking. So my thought ultimately was I'm trying to get certain things that were going to match up that weren't the best necessarily matchups overall, but we're definitely going to do better against the lower seeds, right? Just kind of like which ones are going to be left over. So it's kind of like you take some of these middling ones in the beginning because there's going to be no good ones left at the end. Unfortunately, some things did slip, like Beasley slipped. I was probably picking Beasley if I wasn't arrested, right? Like that would have been higher in my thing, but like it kind of happened that way. I do think though, like having the former champ is always a good one. Evil Jordan.
I'm sorry, I disagree. Like
I wouldn't
how
have
many
picked Clyde,
how many times does the champion repeat in March Madness? It never happens.
Doesn't
never happens. I promise you, people are going to get like, there's voter fatigue here. Like nobody's going to be voting for Clyde. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not going to lose to the quickly emoji you picked for 15.
Dude, it might.
It's not.
It might. I wouldn't rule it out.
If there's any faction in our Discord that stands for morality and justice, my picks could potentially serve Marty well if they're like, well, Doug was illegally detained and sent to Guantanamo. We need to uphold his picks, right? Like Marty has that going for him.
Nobody is fighting for your cause. Nobody.
It's me. I'm like, you guys Marty, are you a conspiracy theory guy?
What are we talking about here?
I just watched the documentary American Conspiracy on Netflix, the octopus murders, and it's just very funny because it's just like these random guys, like these nut jobs, are like, I swear to God, I have all the answers, right? And like I'm the one who's like out, like people are out to get me. Like I sound like that type of person right now. Like everyone's out to get me, and someone will defend me. And it's like, no,
you have no followers.
I have 0 followers in this, but no, I honestly I think. I'm trying to think of some other upsets are going to be, I don't know. So, Sexy Tibbs versus Frank, that could be the 16-1.
I could see it. Frank Tongue, I don't know, man. I'm not a personal Frank Tongue fan.
You know what it is? I think the further we've moved from kind of like that era, right? Like Frank doesn't hold the same thing because like it's not as funny anymore because the team's good now. So it doesn't have the same thing because now we could just be like, well, yeah, he's stuck.
I actually disagree. I think Frank is aging like fine wine. I think he actually becomes more of a legend the further removed we are from his era. And I actually think with the way revisionist history works, we can just start acting like he was great the whole time. We've always
been acting that way.
I know, but we can act like he was. We can act like he was even greater than he was in the moment. And I could not disagree more with Doug saying that Frank is like fading into irrelevancy. I actually think he's becoming more and more relevant. He's been hooping for Partizan BC in Serbia. They're at the top of the table in the ABA. I don't know if you've been following. I've been super locked in on them. I follow all their socials.
Oh yeah, you have been. You've been watching all the games.
Yep. You didn't even know that Frank actually missed 2 to 3 months with an injury and just returned last weekend and had 6 points.
I couldn't care.
Frank getting injured? That's shocking to me.
Yep.
This is shocking.
Yep. He returned with a triple single.
Your single. Your Precious emoji, just given how bad Precious has been.
Okay, that was a bad pick. That was a bad pick.
But I think you got, honestly, as much as I love Scorsese cinema, I think that's Precious has it. I don't think enough people.
You think so?
Scorsese cinema. Yeah, I mean I don't think enough people like the Scorsese emoji. It's really
I don't even know who Scorsese is. Like it's just a random guy who's smiling.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's a good one. So I think Precious Green. It would be 2. The second round match would be 2 versus R7. Well, R7 is a fucking cheese emoji.
The which one?
It's the stupid cheese emoji, the cheese burrito emoji.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Precious might go to the Sweet 16 just because he got lucky in matchups.
No, listen,
The
the
cheese
burrito
burrito,
one,
it's a horrible emoji. Why did you pick it?
because it's horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think people are gonna vote for it.
I think people are like, it's so the idea. Listen, if you don't, again, some peel back the curtain some bit. Colin also has a terrible taste in food.
Yeah, he does. Everyone knows that.
And all he would do in our we actually do have people who definitely like care about cooking, love about cooking in our Discord. We love to talk about it, share about it. And then Colin comes in and shares the nastiest burritos. I don't even know where he gets them. I don't know what restaurant serves. Like they're
It was
disgusting.
the restaurant he worked at.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay,
Yeah.
and they were disgusting, like
Yeah,
truly,
I mean,
utterly
they
disgusting.
truly look repulsive.
Like, and so of course we had to immortalize it because it was so disgusting. So that's kind of that. Again, that was my thinking, was like, go heavy-handed. Like, this is so gross. It's going to ascend because it's so repulsive and offensive. But again, I
just don't know if it's taking on Precious screen, despite the fact that people are pissed at Precious right now.
The one thing that falls with my picks is that, similar to how no one's on my side in this coup d'etat, people also aren't like thinking like I am. Like, right? It's just kind of like, oh great, I'm in this weird world that's just stuck in between my head, in between my ears, and no one's gonna follow along.
I think most of your picks are solid. I mean, Dolan Angry is a great one. Clyde is the winner, even though I agree with Zach that he's probably not going to win again.
Yeah.
MJ Devilface is literally one of the most everyone's favorite emoji.
Yes.
Cat crying is a good one. Slop, I'm suspicious of. Julius is a good one. The cheese one, I mean, fuck that, just because I can't look at it. And then the Macau one's fine for an 8C, especially, you know. So I don't know. I don't think you did some horrible job.
I think Dolan screaming is
odd, but
I think Dolan screaming is a good 1 seed.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better than Frank Tongue.
Obviously, it's better than Frank Tongue.
Frank Tongue, I don't think Frank Tongue's making it out of the first round. I really don't.
Even sexier Tibbs, man. He's coming. Look at him. Look at that arm.
Weird.
That was just one of the funnier moments too, like of the off season, having that Tibbs profile. Oh, it was great. It was absolutely great. Zach, you don't have any other thoughts on any of the other emojis?
I really think it's I don't know what the word is. Like, there's just so much variance when it comes. Like, anything can happen in March. You hear it all the time, but it's even more true when it comes to Discord emoji brackets rather than like basketball tournaments.
Even more true.
It is. True.
I just think like we can't predict what's going to happen. You can't be so set on like these. This will be an upset. This won't be an upset. Like, you'll just have to wait and see. And I think I have a really diverse pool here. I have some.
You have one good sleeper, which is
Michael
the Bernie
Beasley.
Sanders.
Bernie. Well, Bernie and Beasley back to back in the late rounds. Like, dude, that's
like those
huge.
Those are your sleepers. I cannot believe Beasley actually fell that far.
I don't really like the Beasley emoji personally, but people do like it. So
no,
I'll tell you why. It's huge because it's perfect to react to like a crazy thing. We don't really have anything that fits the role that it plays.
Yeah,
so it's like it's the only player in that role. So that's why.
Because it's just the Fizdale one, basically.
Well, and then
and that's it.
The Bullock one kind of accomplished that, but nobody wants to use the stupid Bullock emoji. So
no one.
I guess there's like the quickly shocked one, which I don't even think got picked.
No,
but if you search shock on like when you're looking for an emoji, that's the only one that comes up. And then you have to think like the Beasley one is a good one too. But yeah, I don't know. I think we can move into our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, well, just real quick, the Emoji Madness starts on Thursday. It's going to start with the tournament.
Yeah.
Thursday, we're going to do, I think, if I remember correctly, Zach, what we do is for the first round, we do 2, just like the tournament, we do 2 brackets per day, right?
Yeah, we pretty much follow the exact format of the basketball one that some people watch. It doesn't really matter. Like, we're the bigger one here.
The emoji one's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's the only one that matters.
I mean, honestly, last year we had legitimately like 50, 60 people voting in every round.
Yeah.
Out of like,
it was great. Dude, and now the Discord's only grown since. So I'm anticipating like 80 people voting on each one.
If you want to hop on the Patreon, $6 a month to get into the Discord, pay for just this 1 month and vote for the emojis. We won't know.
We wouldn't know. You could just go in, vote for some emojis and leave if you want to. That's fine. So do that again, patreon.com/the Strickland, or you go to the strict.land and you'll see the giant banner for the Patreon. And again, just subscribe. Come on in, check out the emojis. And yeah, that's so let's get into the regular scheduled programming. I think we should probably keep this one I think we may keep this one just one episode. I think it would be a fun way to kind of preview. Do you think we should do that? Or
What do
should
you
we
mean?
split it,
What do you mean?
Well, there's the Patreon version.
Oh no, yeah, we could keep it all together in one. I thought you meant
That's what
like
I'm saying.
split it to like a next week or something. I was like, what?
Yeah, me too. I was
No,
confused.
no,
we can-
not
we
split to
can
next week because we
do
do
the
the
whole
we
thing
have
up.
the
We can make
full
the whole thing
version
Yeah.
and the shorter version. But I think to try to get people into Emoji Madness, I think we should
Are you-
probably get
Is someone noting this so we can have Paul cut this out? This does not need to be in the pod.
no. I do that. I'll cut it out.
All right.
It's fine. All right, we're gonna get into some takes right now, and we have a take shared to us by Young Bavardi. If you don't know who that is, that's Schwinn. He shared a tweet from someone, Knicks girl, responding to "Be More Like State" and the Knicks recap. And the take is, I don't intend to watch the pod anymore. I had a feeling that when it started, they were all about New York vibes plus some sort of emoji that didn't go through.
It's a money bag emoji.
Oh, okay. It's depressing, I have to say. I honestly believe Kat and Mikhail care, but I'm really starting to doubt JB and Josh Hart. I hate feeling this way. So this was, of course, related to the Roommates podcast, and this person thinks that Mikhail and Towns are more engaged with winning a title than Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, and because of the podcast. This is a terrible take.
This might be the only person on earth that thinks this. I don't know how you could think this way. I actually, like, if you were gonna like pick out players in the Knicks starting lineup that you're like concerned are don't have enough like dog in them to like win a championship, it would be Mikhail and Kat, not JB and Josh. It would be it's the other way around. And I also think, like, how many fucking times do we have to have like somebody complain about like athletes podcasting as if it's like ruining their on-court production, or it's like taking away from time that should be spent in the gym? Like, this is just like
it's only for Paul George.
It's only for Paul George, who literally just can't. He sucks. Like, he's
it's only for Paul George.
But like every other athlete podcast, like no matter what the sport even is, like they've got people doing this in the NFL and shit. Like, these guys don't practice all day. Like, they are not expected to do that. Nobody does that. Like, everybody has downtime, and I think they even talked about it on the Dolan pod, and they talked about it on other episodes in recent history too, where they're like, hey, we are going to talk about this shit anyway. Like, we might as well do it on the mics. Like, we have these conversations in the locker room, at restaurants, or wherever the hell they hang out. Like, we might as well do it on the pod and sell some ads on it too. So it's not some crazy, I don't know what the word is, like distraction from their productivity.
I don't think people realize how like low commitment this stuff is too.
Yeah,
especially for them. Like, they're not producing. Look, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson aren't taking the audio files, right? Getting everything synced, making sure everything sounds good, edits everything and stuff like that too, right? Like, they're not doing that. They even said that on the pod. They go in, they sit down probably for like an hour or two, and that's it. And that's it. And they do it once a week. It's such a low commitment that the idea that this is like some over-encompassing like process, like, they probably just have some iPhones that film it. They probably don't even have crazy cameras, right? It's probably just very bare bones, like basic YouTube production type shit. And it just sells because like they're famous in New York. It's really, that's it. It's crazy that like someone like Kendrick Perkins is like, it's a distraction. It's insane to me. It's like going on a radio show. Like, Joe Mazzulla goes on the radio each week. You think he's being distracted? Like, no, come on.
This is not super related, but did you see the Tibbs thing where some reporter asked Tibbs, like, "Oh, did you hear what Channing Frye said about your team?" And like, I don't know, Channing Frye like said some dumb shit about it. I don't even remember what it was. Tibbs is like, "Who?" And the reporter's like, "Channing Frye," and then Tibbs just like, "Oh yeah, nice," and like totally like dismissed it and was like, he owned Channing Frye. And it reminded me of these people who try to comment on like what Brunson did, and it was very similar to the Perkins comment about how, as if he knew what these guys do like off the court and how much of a distraction this podcast could be or whatever. So
Perkins has really done a 180. Last year he was like, I'm going to be the biggest Knicks fan in media. And now he's just like constantly shitting on them.
It's weird.
Anyway,
it's weird.
This is obviously a terrible take. I don't really have much to
add. Stacey Patton has shares another tweet from Paul Kepler, or is it Nepler?
It looks like Nepler. You really can't read.
I'm telling you, man, I can't read. This is Paul's, I believe, friend of the brand. So his take is the Tibbs bashing is too much. New York, the Knicks are on a pace to win 53 wins with only one top 20 player, key new pieces, an ill-fitting starting five, and little depth. OKC, Boston, and Cleveland are more talented. There are plenty of room for criticism, but this team is performing to realistic expectations. There's a lot that I think unpack here.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces here, but I think the general sentiment is like fine, but there's just some weird details where he's like I don't know, only one top 20
that's
player.
Not true.
That's not true. That's not true. They definitely have two, and like arguably three. Like I think OG is like very knocking on the door. He's knocking on the door. He's knocking on the door. Also, I don't know if he's a top 20, but
he's too erratic. I think.
I would say when you say top 20, it kind of really de-emphasizes like how good Jalen Brunson actually is.
Yeah.
Right? Because like he's not just
five player.
Yeah, like he's not just top 20. He's flirting between like the top 5 MVP type race, top 7 type shit, right? Like he's without question top 10. Right? So top 20 would imply he's somewhere between 11 and 20. That's not true.
What? Yeah.
And Towns is having probably his best, at least statistically, his best offensive season.
Not anymore, but he's still like, I think he's kind of cooled down too much for that at this point, but he's still a top 20 player. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of hard to be like, so there's two of them there. So like, I would agree that, I don't think they're ill-fitted. I really don't think that. Like, I think this is a team that does fit very well. And Tibbs is very specifically on how they play. Is like, if Jalen Brunson's in, it's basically helio ball with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's going to break down the defense, and they have to figure it out from there. Now, we've seen, 5 games now without Brunson?
Yeah.
They clearly can move the ball. They clearly can move without the ball, and they can clearly set screens for one another. So, like, they know how to play. They just don't do it.
This is why the Tibbs bashing is actually not too much, because the reason they play like weird when Brunson is in the game is because that's Tibbs. Brunson is not. I mean, we all know Brunson's not going around being like, "This is my ball. I'm going to play hero ball." Like, that's just not what he's going to be doing. But that's Tibbs running the offense that way. So, like, and then all of a sudden, the offense should not be better without Jalen Brunson.
I don't think statistically
it's not
it is
better, but like, you know what I mean. Like,
eye test wise, you're watching it, you're like, oh, the ball's moving.
This
moving.
is more attractive.
Yes,
and it shouldn't be the case. I mean, look, with regards to the starting 5, I think probably Deuce or Cat should be. I mean, Deuce or Mitch ultimately should be starting instead of Hart, but
probably
that's like kind of not a huge deal. So, but he's right. I mean, they're going to win like almost 55 games.
It is kind of a huge deal. It's a pretty big deal that we haven't figured the starting lineup thing out yet. And like, I'm going to echo what Schwinn has been saying on like every rundown and every podcast for the past like month and a half. But you acquired Cat to have this 5-out spacing to kind of create this offensive juggernaut where Brunson has all this like space to create and do his own thing. But when you play Hart with like in like 80% of Cat's minutes, you're negating the whole reason you brought in Cat in the first place. I think Hart's a really effective player. I think we all kind of agree on that. I don't think there's anybody in the Discord who will disagree with that. Hart is like a great talented player that's very helpful to this team.
Hater somewhere.
Maybe there's one.
There's someone who hates Josh Hart.
But I think I think we can all agree that he's better suited coming off the bench and playing most of his minutes with the bench unit as like a kind of creator type of role who can play off other guys, but doesn't need to kind of bog down the offense by being treated like a center and left open in the corner and on the wing. So I think we've already seen some of those lineups a little bit, and those lineups are effective, but it's going to take a serious like Tibbs change to kind of realize that. And I hope we don't go into the playoffs with the same school of thought that we're in right now, which is kind of where we're heading. So we'll see.
I'm going to push back a little bit on the spacing stuff. So when you have teams selling out, on like Josh Hart, what they're doing. If you're a team like the Knicks and how Tom Thibodeau likes to run the offense, which is very like simplified, that's when the spacing comes into issue. If you have someone who is being ignored that way, that player can actually generate a significant amount of space for everyone else because they're selling out on him. So Josh Hart should be used much more as a screener, which we have seen lately, especially we saw in the overtime game, what that does as a screener, because they had Clingan all the way, like we're talking like Tibbs level type of dropping, right? So if Hart hits the screen, which he's doing, he creates a significant advantage for the ball handler, which we saw in McHale, who had any spot he wanted in the mid range. Jalen Brunson could do that too, right? Mikal Bridges could do that too. They don't create space. Josh Hart isn't creating space the way he needs to if he's being sold out when Jalen Brunson's on the floor versus when he's not. And I think that is a Tom Thibodeau thing. But I would also agree, if we're playing into this too, it would also make sense to maybe have Hart come off the bench and have Deucin, right? Like there is a very sound argument for that too. I don't want to like say it's not good. I just want to say that like Tom needs to like, hey, they say he's cranking film 24/7, right? Like if my dumbass can see this watching the game, I would hope Tom can too.
He can see it. The problem is has always been with him is that he's stubborn and he's like, I want to win this way, and the way we're going to win is like, Cat and Brunson are going to figure it out for themselves because that's what they should do. And so instead of being like, oh shit, this Hart screening thing is working well. I mean, look how much, again, like the offense is not better, but it's running better without Brunson because now Tibbs has to be creative with how he's running the offense because he has Deuce running it. So and then immediately this stuff happens. It's just he's stubborn. And when this wasn't happening 2 years ago before Brunson ascended to this level because he couldn't just let Brunson run the offense, freelance all the time. So, it's just very frustrating. I think, I don't know. I think they're going to, unfortunately, if this doesn't change, they're probably going to lose. If not in the first round, they're definitely losing the second round again. And it's going to be very frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know who the first round matchup's going to be, but I
would
say
right now it's the Pistons, I think, which is
I think it's going to be the Pistons.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, one last. It's not going to be a tough matchup, man. They're going to smoke the Pistons. They're not. I'd be shocked if that series goes more than 5 games.
I mean, the argument is, I assume what you're thinking, Zach, is like these guys have never played in the playoffs. They're going to be like, it'll be like the Cavs a few years ago, And
I actually have a better comp for it. And I was thinking about this last night. Well, before I even get into the comp, my first thing is like the Knicks are just way more talented. Like if you go through like the top 10 players playing in that series, like 8 of them are Knicks. Like that's where that conversation starts. But I have another historical comp that I think will hit close to home for us and the listeners. But if you remember the 2021 Knicks team that was the 4 seed and had set the world on fire and was coming off a awful year the year before and had made a major front office change, made a coaching change, and had a young player like Cade. I mean, RJ is not Cade, but he was having a young player having a great year.
I would agree. RJ is better than Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, RJ is way better than Cade. But we also had a veteran who kind of had a good career, not a career year, but had a great year. And I guess it's pretty similar to Tobias Harris, the year he's having right now with them. They have like Malik Beasley is having a great year. It's kind of like Reggie Bullock having a great year for the 2021 Knicks. I think we were all there. I was super high on that Knicks team. We all thought we could make this like Cinderella, we believe Warriors type of run to the conference finals. And little do we know, we lose in 5 to like Trae Young Hawks, who just were a little more experienced, a little more talented, but we kind of got our ass kicked by them. And I think the Knicks Pistons series is going to be just like that. We're going to get our revenge. We're going to get our get back on that 2021 team and show a new young team what it's like and beat them in 5. So that's my Knicks Pistons.
I hope you're right. It's also Bickerstaff who we know
who sucks. Yeah,
around.
like Tibbs is going to outcoach him. So
yeah.
All right, we have two Jalen Brunson takes that kind of go hand in hand together. So this one is from Young Pavardi. I think Zach, you actually specifically linked this from General, if I'm not mistaken. So my hot take is that if we avoid any other serious injuries moving forward, we can survive Brunson getting hurt and probably play 500 to close the season, if not a bit better. And then Boo has, as long as JV is good for the playoffs, this time without him is helpful.
Yeah.
I think this is how it's kind of playing out right now too. Since these takes were submitted, they are what, they 2-3 or 3-2.
I think they're 2-3.
2-3.
Yeah, like they're 2-3 without Brunson so far. I think they have a good chance to win tonight, right? To make them 500. They're forced to play a different style of basketball now that Jalen Brunson's not there. I think it could be helpful.
I also, if you look at the schedule coming up, it's the Heat who stink now, the Spurs who totally stink and have like gutted their whole entire team are tanking, the Hornets who absolutely stink, the Wizards who somehow stink even more than the Hornets. So like you've got some like pretty chalk wins coming up here that'll like get you above 500.
It's been a tough schedule for the past few weeks.
It has. This West Coast trip was bad. The back-to-back in LA was like that was a total schedule loss to me. Dude, I'm sorry. We have the Mavs coming up again after this too, which is another chalk win. So like they're in good shape here, and like I also just think like the time without him being helpful is 100% true. Just being able to have more lineup data and see who works with who, these 2-man combos, the 3-man combos. Kind of get McHale and Cat some more touches and some more confidence, get them in a little more of a groove scoring. And I think this is it's obviously not I don't like the word blessing in disguise because I would love to have Brunson out there, but I think there are some like silver linings to the injury a little bit, which is okay.
Mikey Cooks has, I'll be fine if I have this current Celtics team 3-peat if it means OKC never wins a championship. Mikey, this is terrible.
I actually agree. I agree.
Oh my god!
I totally agree.
No.
I hate the Thunder like 500 times more than I hate this Celtics team. Like,
why?
I just think they're so fucking annoying, and like the whole like aura gimmick with Shea I can't stand Shea. I think it's all like so manufactured and forced. Like all the hype around him. I know he's like having a great season on the court, but all of the like off the court shit and like all the videos and the memes and the clips I'm tired of. I can't stand Hartenstein for like going over there. It's this traitor. Can't see Hartenstein win a championship with them. Sam Presti, this hoarder of draft picks who's building this, who got so lucky with the Paul George trade, getting Shea and like every pick ever in this deal, which is, I don't know, some sort of, that's a real coup d'etat, whatever that you want to call it. So I would rather see the Celtics win than the OKC ever win the championship.
Dude, you're online too much. There's nothing worse than the Celtics winning. I don't think you understand
how a 3-peat
in a 3. Do you understand what that would do? Like, you already see what our country is evolving into right now, right? To have a Celtics 3-peat on top of that, it'll only embolden everyone else. Like, I don't understand why you would think that is a good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's just a less bad thing than the Thunder winning one.
There is currently a Celtics documentary airing on HBO, which nobody can be watching other than Bill Simmons. Like nobody, I know he made it. Yeah. He made it. He can be the only person watching it.
Only Celtics fans are watching it.
I don't think the people in Boston right now are even watching that documentary. Do you understand? Like that's how.
Who's watching that? And like, I know we're getting distracted here, but my point is like, you can't let the Celtics win 3 in a row. No. He'll make another fucking documentary.
Yeah, how many Bill Simmons documentaries do you not want to watch?
We probably lost a season of White Lotus because of this.
Yeah, can you imagine HBO putting money towards another Celtics documentary instead of a White Lotus season 5?
Yeah.
I don't care about White Lotus.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Documentaries.
It's not on TikTok, so he doesn't watch it.
It's fucking, I swear to God. But Mikey, I love you, but this is top tier bozo. Top tier bozo. Absolutely terrible. Our beloved Jerry Garcia, a friend of the show who still refuses to come on, has Spring Breakers is a misunderstood masterpiece that does a better job explaining the current state of America than 99% of the TV shows and movies that have tried. I feel like Marty's watched this.
Yeah, I'll go get some coffee while y'all talk about
Have you watched Spring Breakers?
No. Why would I have watched
that? That was like the first. Well, no, they're millennials. Because it was Selena Gomez, Vanessa Hudgens,
and someone else.
It was 2 others. What's her name?
She's something Benson.
Yeah. Something Benson. You're right. and then the 4th one, But anyway, so I guess it was really a pretty classic, like mid-millennial movie. But
I think James. This is a very good James take.
I agree with him. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I can't like actually break it down. well enough.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but I just remember it captured a very specific, like there was a vibe that it really captured, and it captured ultimately like what it really is like for just like folks to like do a spring break thing and like how you interact with like basically the weirdos of like West Florida, right? It was in Western Florida because I think it was outside of Tampa.
Yeah, but it was more about like class and
Yes.
these women just like immediately were willing to sell
like, do all
themselves.
this.
Yeah.
It was I think Spring Breakers was fantastic. I really do. I thought it was a great movie. And it really captured a lot of different things. Zach, this is something you need to watch.
Won't be watching it. Won't be watching it. Sorry.
Unbelievable.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
while we're on movie takes, this is I
there's
can talk about.
Spare One has it. We have basically pop culture stuff to end the end of the show. We did it's fine because we had to talk about Emoji Madness. I figured I tried to keep this episode light. I have revised my previous opinion and concluded that Interstellar is my favorite Nolan film. This is from Spare One, who previously had The Prestige as the favorite Nolan film. Zach, how many
Guess what?
Christopher Nolan films have you seen?
All right. If you guys were, Doug wasn't there. Marty was.
Yeah.
For the vaunted.
It was in my apartment right here behind me.
I think it was over a year ago at this point.
No, it was a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago at this point.
Yeah, because it was when Oppenheimer came out.
I also just want to confirm it. Like it never released. Right?
No, it didn't. Anyway, go ahead. Finish off.
There is a vaulted Strickland podcast, an IRL podcast where we recorded in Marty's living room. It was Alex, Marty, Schwinn, and Whack, right? And other Zach was there.
Wackery,
yeah, I think. It was those 5. They did a Christopher Nolan movie ranking pod, and then they had me be like the host, kind of like the admin for this, like the moderator, because I didn't have a dog in the fight. I hadn't watched all these Christopher Nolan films, but I have watched Interstellar multiple times, and multiple times in the theater and at home, and I thought it was great. The only thing is I've probably watched other Christopher Nolan films in my day, but I am so bad at like remembering who directed what that I just can't tell you like which ones that I've seen. And I'm really bad at like remembering actors' names and like directors' names. I'm just like, oh, this is a good movie. It was good. And
I could do this for you off the top of my head. Are you ready?
Sure.
Following, you haven't seen that. Memento.
I don't.
No.
Okay. Batman Begins.
No.
The Prestige. That's the other one the Spare One mentioned.
No.
Dark Knight.
Maybe. I wouldn't rule it out.
Maybe.
I think I did. I think I saw a while ago.
Okay. Inception.
No.
Dark Knight Rises. Probably not.
Oh wait, wait. Is there 2 different Dark Knights? I've definitely seen one of them.
They're all Batman movies. Those 3.
Okay, I've definitely seen some of like the epic Batmans that were great. I don't remember which one though. So
yeah. Well, that's the Rises is the one with Bane, where Tom Hardy plays a giant wrestler with the weird voice.
Maybe I don't know. It's
the Joker one is Dark Knight. Dark Knight's the Joker one.
I don't remember, so just keep.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Interstellar.
Yes.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Is 1917 next?
I actually have.
He didn't do 1917. He did Dunkirk.
That's not him. That's
it was Dunkirk.
I'm thinking of Dunkirk. Yeah.
I have seen both. I have seen both of those though.
1917, very good.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I was thinking of Dunkirk.
Yeah, that's Dunkirk.
Then it's Tenet.
No.
And Oppenheimer. That's everything. I think. I don't think I missed.
I have seen Oppenheimer.
No, I think you got everything.
I'm looking. Where is my?
I know. I actually, which is pretty funny. I am agreeing with Spare One. Interstellar is also my personal favorite. I don't think it's his best movie, but it's my personal favorite.
His best movie is Oppenheimer.
Oh, I still haven't seen Oppenheimer.
What?
I wouldn't say it's I still haven't seen it.
Well, you can't say it's Oppenheimer if you haven't seen it. I wouldn't say it's Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's because I haven't seen it. That's why I wouldn't say it's Oppenheimer.
Yeah, right. It just I wouldn't say implies that's your opinion. You don't have an opinion on this.
No, that's what I mean. It's like I don't have an opinion. Because I haven't seen Oppenheimer, I'm picking. I think Dunkirk is his best movie. I think Dunkirk is.
No, I don't agree with that.
I love Dunkirk. I think it's just fantastic. I think just the way he used. Again, the way he uses time and the meaning of Dunkirk. Also, because I'm gonna be like super pretentious about this. Like I went to Dover to the cliffs
Mm.
and like I saw everything. So like and I'm like, oh, like there's something there when you actually like go and you kind of experience it and you actually see where it actually took place too and everything like that. Because like you could see France from England there. Like it's kind of crazy to think about like how close
That is cool. Yeah.
everything was. So like that's why like Dunkirk for me. But I absolutely love Interstellar. I don't give a shit about the ghost. Like everyone is like so obsessed with it. It's so visually stunning.
Interstellar is amazing. I think it was
it's
second on
absolutely
my
amazing.
ranking. I think I had it second. No, I had Dark Knight second. Interstellar was probably third. But yeah, so by the way, we got sidetracked. Just FYI on that podcast, because people do ask about it occasionally.
Really?
Yeah, they do, because they know it exists, and we
amazing.
haven't ever released it. We recorded it in my apartment. Alex then realized the audio was unusable because, and we also didn't get through it. We were like down to our top 5, and we were all just like, God damn it, it's like 1 a.m.
We were like 3 hours in and hadn't even made
Yeah.
like halfway through all the films.
Yeah,
and
man,
I was sitting there confused, like, what the fuck are we talking about? I don't even know.
So we re-recorded it without Zach, with just me, Schwinn, Alex, and Whack, because Zach didn't really need to be there. And that's like, so Alex's plan has always been to take the re-recorded pod and then kind of splice it with the live one and just like release this like hilarious, weird like amalgamation of the two versions of the pod.
I would like that.
The mailbag we haven't done a mailbag episode in like almost a year and a half. I think that's literally the last mailbag episode we recorded. So we just, haven't released
That definitely needs to be like one of those like Patreon exclusive type of things.
Every time it comes up, I'm like, Alex, it's ready. He could just put it out. He just hasn't done it. So it's like he already did all the editing, I'm pretty sure.
We need to release it.
So it's
needs to be
that's why I'm
released.
doing this. I'm saying this publicly so that Alex gets pressured into putting it out.
Good. This is why it's needed. It needs to happen.
By the way, The Prestige, also
good.
an excellent movie.
Yeah, it's very good.
The ending is like unbelievable.
It's so much. It really is fun. Like it's just like it hits all this other certain ways. I still haven't seen Tenet though, and I kind of want to watch it.
Honestly, it's bad.
But I want to watch it because like it's supposed to be like this. Like none of it makes sense, right? Like it's supposed to be like this insane thing.
When I watched it, because it came out during COVID, like right when COVID started. When I watched it, Schwinn was like, "Text me when you're done," and then he sent me this link to a Reddit thread, which had these like insane graphs and charts explaining the movie, and I was like,
God.
I understand it less now after reading these stupid charts. It's honestly, it's a bad movie. But Zach, if you haven't seen Prestige, you should watch Prestige.
Yes,
maybe. I can't promise it though. So,
well, that's fine. But you should.
Can you at least watch Memento?
No, I can't. I can't promise these things. Like it's just too much. It's too much.
Memento's fun.
I believe it. I'm not.
I think Memento's overrated. We don't need to rehash. I mean, I guess we kind of
okay. That's fine. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like,
it is overrated. I still think it's fun though, if that makes sense.
It's not bad. I just think it's overrated.
I think Memento gives you a good idea of like it kind of makes all of his other films also kind of like make sense in a way.
For sure. Yeah, I mean you can see, but honestly, oddly enough, I'm assuming Doug, you haven't seen Following. I've only seen it because I watched it for this podcast we did.
I have. That's the one
that's his first movie. And it is, you can actually see everything that he likes to do in there, which is really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, on a much lower scale. He had like no money to make that movie.
Yeah, that one was super low budget. Yeah, I may have to be. I'm interested in that, but I need Zach to start really watching some of these things.
Like the Nick Saban gif, where it's like it's not going to happen. Just quit asking. that's what I would respond with.
All right, our last tape. We're gonna wrap up with some more pop culture stuff. This is from Stephen A. for President.
Before you read it, you better deliver this in the proper delivery, because this is a take that's a play on an iconic moment, and if you don't know this moment, just admit it, and I'll deliver it.
All you.
You don't know this? All right, this guy's a clown. I love Taylor Swift. This is, by the way, from Stephen A. Smith for President, which I believe is Jack's 365. Right?
It is Jack's.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Taylor Swift. I've talked about her incessantly for a decade. I still think she's absolutely remarkable, but for the first time in 10 to 12 years, I look at pop music, which I've listened to for 4 decades, and I say this now with Sabrina Carpenter. Hey, Taylor, we're all good, love. You can go. You don't have to. You can hang around. You're still great, but you can go. We're good here. that's a tribute to the Colin Cowherd legendary moment on Jason Tatum. I'm sorry, and on what am I saying? On Ben Simmons, where he echoed those exact words, but LeBron was Taylor Swift and Ben Simmons was Sabrina Carpenter. This is a clip from like 6 years ago now, or 5 years
So
ago.
iconic. It's so iconic.
But for some reason, it just resurfaced and became a staple of meme culture, and has now been used as a online meme reaction whenever you're good and we're ready to move on. But I highly recommend checking out the clip if you're not aware of what the play is here. By the way, I totally agree. I think Sabrina is the full package of a pop star. I think she's ready to take the throne. She's actually like, if you're going to do the Ben Simmons comp, like she's way ahead of where Ben Simmons was at the time. Like she's got platinum records, number one songs. Like Ben Simmons was not winning MVPs when Colin Cowherd said this. Like Sabrina's already a multi-time MVP candidate. Like has climbed the mountain already. But yeah, Taylor, we're good here. You can go. You're still great, but you can go.
Yeah, I feel like after the like the COVID albums dropped for Taylor, like you're good. Like you got back to some of like your roots during the COVID era, right? Like you had a nice little like everything that I've done, and we're good now. You're right. Like we're like, I was gonna say like I didn't know the reference to it, but like I'm with Jax on this. Like we're fine now. We're in good shape with pop music. Like we don't need her. We really don't. Marty, are you?
By the way, I said Jason Tatum because Colin Cowherd is actually going viral right now for 2 clips. One of them being this Ben Simmons LeBron clip, but the other one being this Jason Tatum comparison to like Magic, Michael, and LeBron. And it's an even greater clip to me, but my brain got the wires crossed there. That's why I said Tatum at the beginning. That's an accident.
I forgive you.
Yeah. By the way, I am a pop music aficionado.
I wasn't talking to you, Marty. Are you a pop music aficionado?
I mean, I'm aware.
You're aware. Okay.
I'm aware. I know all the normal Sabrina Carpenter songs and all the Olivia Rodrigo songs and all the 2 Tate McRae songs. And she's now inserted herself into this.
No, she hasn't. I don't agree with that at all.
I mean, she has.
No, she really hasn't.
We have to go to our Gen Z correspondent here, Zachary.
I'll end this one with a steaming hot take. I think Olivia Rodrigo, for those who don't know she is a better complete star package than Sabrina Carpenter. I actually would buy her stock before I buy Sabrina's, but I think Sabrina's a little further, like her Darko DPM chart. If you do like by like seasons, like she's got the head start on Olivia. She's a little older, so but if you line their Darko DPMs up by age, where it's like the charts are the exact same, I think Olivia probably has a higher Darko DPM.
She's always been more famous than Sabrina Carpenter at every age. I mean,
yeah, so I think Sabrina might be higher right now if you're doing it by season, but if you're going by age, yes. I think Olivia actually has a higher Darko DPM.
These fucking Disney Channel people, they just like,
dude, it's crazy.
She also,
I mean, Ariana Grande is a millennial, but like Ariana Grande,
yeah. Like Olivia Rodrigo has the better debut album because Sabrina Carpenter has had albums before this and they really haven't stuck.
Yep.
So she has that going for her. I think the dark horse is obviously going to be Chappell Ronan had like the counterculture pop stuff.
I forgot somebody. Yeah,
I have heard that name before, but I don't think she's even in the conversation of what we're doing over here. Like, I think that's like we're talking all NBA first team, and this is like somebody who might like make an all-star team.
No, she is. Again, you're not in touch with other types.
I actually think
cultures.
Through that, what's happening here is Chappell Ronan is preferred by older people.
That is true.
Like all of my friends love Chappell Ronan more so than the other pop girlies,
which makes sense. Like I know for me, I'm more with Zach where like Olivia Rodrigo's significantly better. And I think Sabrina Carpenter's album really hit all the staples of what you'd want in a classic pop album. Right? Like it hits every single thing. It has all the different genres, it has the different sounds, and it has all the radio hits to the album hits. Like it's a complete album, and that's really important to have a complete album and not just hits, which is something that I think that you guys are or at least you mentioned with like Tate McRae. Like I don't, what's her album? What's her
I
sound?
don't know.
Exactly.
I
That's
just
my
know
point.
she
Like
is-
just
two
just
songs,
not
yeah.
there. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, just
Oh,
absolutely.
she's not on
not
the
there.
same level. I just was, she's like inserted herself.
We're
into
missing what we're really missing out on is the guy version of it. Like we don't have a guy pop star.
We don't. Not really. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
Because
I can't think of one either.
that's basically has turned more into like the K-pop stuff. That's where that is, and there is some crossover that comes in with the pop, but like we don't have like that signature like male pop guy. We haven't had that in a while. The closest would be like The Weeknd, and like
different kind of
The
star.
Weeknd.
Different kind of star.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's
Yeah.
that's probably
Can't
the
be doing-
closest
like
you're
if
gonna
we're trying
get.
to be someone who's like in their early to mid 20s. I can't think of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're like where is that that person?
It's
Doesn't
literally
really.
Timothy Chalamet, who's not a singer, but
Yeah.
I mean, actually, he's 29, by the way, so he's not even. He doesn't.
Yeah,
count
like
either.
there's no one right now, which I think is just really interesting. Like there isn't that person, but no, honestly, Jax, great take, and I'm also like I'm done. I'm really done with Taylor. Like I really am. Just like I'm done.
I don't have any particular thoughts. Her music is catchy. If she makes more music, it'll probably
I'm
be
done.
catchy.
We're good here. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. She had her classics when she was younger, right? Like she had her Speak Now, she had her Reds, right? She had her collab, she did it. She had a little thing in the COVID. That's it. You're done. Go ahead. Go be rich now, right?
She's gonna just graduate into Beyonce territory, where it's like she just still makes a ton of money because she has her fans that are gonna buy all her shit.
And just stop bothering us. just stop bothering us. That's gonna be the show. Oh, also we forgot Charlie XCX for pop stuff.
That's another huge one. Yeah.
Definitely all NBA.
Well, what's
Also-
weird is Charlie XCX has been famous for 15 years.
Yes, and what's really Marty, you'll find this funny because Zach is too young for it. The younger people do think like she was like first, this
Right?
is like
No, but
her
she was on
moment.
Lady
And
Gaga
it's like,
song literally 15 years ago.
and it's like no, she's
I
been,
was there when Charlie came out and had like I Love It was her breakout hit. Like
Yeah,
I
right.
was not. I'm not that young. Like I remember that.
I understand, but there are people in like who are young like you who are like Brat was like the first moment that she had, and it's like no.
I don't actually think that's true. I think people know that she was already famous, but
okay, I will say
she kind of
anecdotally
disappeared
for me.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking. I only talk to young. I only talk to young.
Can we wrapping up? I just want to put out there that my pick for winning Emoji Madness this year.
Oh, okay.
All right, should we all make our picks?
Yeah,
we'll make our picks.
Is MJ Devilface? I think MJ Devilface is taking it this year.
That's a good pick. Fuck. Let me think. I have a pick. It's not even on my team.
I don't think is MJ Devilface on our team.
No, it's not. It's on Alex's team.
I didn't think so. Yeah.
Oh no, it isn't. No, I'm sorry. It is on your team. It's on your team.
Oh, it is
It's on your
amazing.
team. Yeah.
I did not remember that. It was just I just picked it because that was.
I am going with Colin's #1 overall pick, Mr. Dolan Shear, which I think is synonymous with our. It's synonymous with our Discord at this point. It's probably the most used. It's the #1. Like it's just
Dolan Fatface is the most used emoji.
Yeah, but still, like Dolan Shear would be a serious.
Which
upset
I
if that
still
loses.
contend has no meaning.
Dolan
Fat
Fatface.
face?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why it's the most used emoji because it doesn't have a meaning. You just use it.
Yeah, it's meaning.
And
It's like it's kind of like
that's why it annoys me so much. It
You don't
makes
like
no
Dolan
sense.
Fatface?
No.
I hate Dolan Fatface.
I have a great comp, and I think Marty will appreciate this one. Dog, I'm not really sure. Dolan Fatface is the Shalom of our Discord.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Shalom is hello,
Three
it's
different
goodbye,
meanings. Yeah.
it's peace, it's
Yeah.
it's good, it's like it's
Yeah.
anything you want it to be. And I think Mr. Dolan Fatface is the Shalom of the Strickland Discord.
That's really insulting that originally you thought I was a part of the tribe.
I
And then
did.
you think
then
I
realized
don't
you're
know
not.
what Shalom is?
I wanted to just I thought
Doug's a New Jersey non-Jew, but everyone from where Doug's from is basically a Jew. So like
Do you not understand? I've had to read the Torah many a nights for different Hanukkah dinners, for different Seders, and everything like that. I am well versed in the world.
Well, all I said was that I think Marty would appreciate a little bit more. I didn't say you wouldn't appreciate
No,
it.
you said I
Marty
wouldn't know what you're talking about.
That's actually not true. That's he didn't say that.
Not
We're
what I
gonna
said.
we're gonna rewind the clip.
Go to VAR for this.
All right, Doug, make your pick. Who do you think's gonna win?
You already took mine for the MJ face. I really thought that's going to be
You can take MJ Devil face. There's no like.
No, I want to try to go for a different one to do it. I'm trying to find like a sleeper. Looking up real quick. No, I think the MJ Devil face has. I think the matchup wise.
Dolan Cheer is a good pick.
Dolan Cheer is a good one though. I don't. So here, okay, I'll do a different type of take because Alex, in all effect, stole the snail. I think people are going to be like, we're not doing snail. I think there's going to be like a counter protest to snail.
I'll be part of it.
Nobody remembers that he wouldn't let you take snail.
No. It's not necessarily that. I think because like we added it as well. And the idea was like, oh, snail is going to be like the top pick in the non-8, and it's going to be a clear winner because everyone uses it. I think snail, there's going to be an anti-snail movement.
I actually agree that snail's not going to go very far. But I will say, I almost don't want to say this, but I feel like, not enough people listen to us, so it don't matter. I picked point up because I think it's just going to like rig it. Like people are just going to point up is actually the most used emoji, and people are just going to fucking click point up when they see it.
I hope not. That would be really anticlimactic.
No, it's not going to win.
Okay. No, it's not going to win, but like it will.
I think it's just going to go farther than it should because people are just going to like be clicking it.
Yeah, because like we point up. We're like
you see point up, you click point up. Like that's just how it goes in the Discord. So.
Yeah, but no, my pick will be like, almost like an anti-pick. I don't think snail. I think snail is.
I agree with you.
Is actually
who's it up against in the first round?
Snail is going to be up.
Collins 14.
Oh, it's going to be up against the RJ face. Like, no, it's not.
Oh yeah, well, never mind.
Listen, snail's going to smoke any of the RJ ones. I just don't think. I think the hype for adding snail is actually going to be used against it, basically.
But in round 2, it would be up against. Well, I don't know that Courtside James is going to win. So in round 2, it would be up against.
Who's Courtside James up against?
For Scuba Mitch, which I actually think Scuba Mitch could beat Courtside James, and then I think Scuba Mitch could beat Snail.
Yeah, I think like Scuba Mitch is a low key like good pick.
Yeah,
but no, that's what I'll go with. And I think when we did the when we had it secured for like the Elite 8 was going to be the top picks.
Right.
I very much was like, I really think MJ Devilface is the best of like the picks. Like I just think it captures so much of what a lot of us say and do.
Oh no, MJ Devilface though was not Elite 8 last year.
I know.
It was your first pick outside the Elite 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's the best emoji.
Well, in its first round matchup is against Aller, which like no offense, Zach, that's not a good emoji. Brock Aller.
I think it's great. I think it's a great one.
It's not beating MJ Devilface.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
Like it's not the Brock Aller one's not good.
Anyway,
I think that's the good one. So that's going to be our show. This will be all free, so everyone's doing so people can understand what they're missing out when they don't sign up for the Patreon. You have time
before Thursday. You'll have time to join.
Like you get to hear all of like this is how these shows end too. For Takes from Obvious Bozos, just like insanity where we don't even know what we're talking about, right? Like this is what you get. So yes, you got to do that, even though Marty correctly identified that probably only 5 people listen to it, but still.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But again, patreon.com/Strickland, Strick.land. Go to it. Again, Bet Online, our sponsor overlords. And that's the show. We will see you in 2 weeks. We'll have an update on Emoji Madness. So we'll see you then.
You guys aren't working tomorrow, but like I am.